Now, a First Alert Weather Breakdown. First Alert Weather Day Special Edition with meteorologist Evan Thomason.
Welcome into your First Alert Weather Day Weather Breakdown. I'm First Alert meteorologist Evan Thomason. I'll be on your screen here in just a moment. But anyways, welcome on. Here's a current look at the First Alert Doppler radar, which thankfully is looking nice and calm here for now, but it's not going to last here throughout the day today, certainly. Everywhere from Texarkana all the way down to Natchitoches looking nice and clear. In fact, we've actually got some good peaks of sunshine in on through. We'll take a look at the webcams out in just a little bit. You do see a little bit of light rain trying to linger on the southwestern corner of Nacogdoches down here. And this is, as of the latest loop, this is trying to move up north and east into the ArkLaTex to give us maybe our first little batch of rain here for today. And eventually, with the heat of the afternoon, that's really what's going to help to amplify some of these storms coming on through here for you. So, not only do we have the little bits of rain around us here at this hour, but really quickly before we introduce the whole segment here, we are dealing with a huge system here overall. Powerful, large scale. We're dealing with storms that have already produced tornado warnings out towards Mississippi, down just way off to our east. But, I mean, you could see the storms lingering as far north as the northeast side of the United States. This is a huge line and a cold front and huge lines that are going to continue to come on through. But even though these storms are way off to the east side of the ArkLaTex, again, we're still expected to form a lot more closer to home here in the next couple of hours. And you already see that again with a little light band of rain that's trying to form out in the College Station, extending a little bit west out towards Austin. This is trying to stretch itself slowly but surely back into the ArkLaTex, and eventually you can also see a little bit of some of these light rain showers trying to move on north into the ArkLaTex to give us chances for storms later on today. Welcome in. It's the First Alert Weather Day Weather Breakdown. I'm meteorologist Evan Thomason. Today is the day to stay weather aware. I want to thank those of you watching on our Facebook feed as well, especially. Welcome on in. It is Friday. It's the end of the work week, but it's storms. They've finally arrived. And as I've stated this throughout most of the podcasts here this week, we need this rain. The rainfall itself, that's great. It's lovely. I know it's bad for your plans, especially for tonight if you have any Friday night plans, but we need the rainfall first and foremost, which it's going to be great. We don't need, obviously, any of the severe weather threat that comes with it, okay? But unfortunately, we are going to be dealing with at least some chance of severe weather in for some portion of the ArkLaTex here for your day today. So that's what we're watching out for here, especially here for this afternoon and into tonight. This will be something that deals with the second half of the day, not my shift in the morning. But again, we are keeping you prepped up here for the day today. As always, feel free to leave a comment on our Facebook stream or YouTube stream, and we will answer it. We will answer any questions, comments, those kind of things after we give the full forecast, because the full forecast might answer your question, then and there. We'll give a shout out to Corey. Corey, appreciate you for coming on to the live stream on our Facebook and tuning in again to your First Alert Weather Breakdown. All right, so again, all topics here for the day today are just talking about essentially about your First Alert Weather Day. We'll briefly talk about what's going on after today as well, which is looking a lot more calm, a lot more sunny. But again, you just got to get through the storms here for tonight, and that is definitely what we are enticing and just dealing with for our stream here for the day today. All right, so let's get on into it. I'm setting up the graphics from top to bottom, give you the full look at the forecast here for you. Again, this First Alert Weather Breakdown, feel free to tune in every single weekday. I know First Alert Weather Breakdown, you always tune in to get the latest on the actual severe storms, but we do this every single weekday. So, kind of cool. Anyways, let's get on. I'm still setting things up. I'm a one-man band behind the scenes, setting up all your graphics here and everything. Anyways, here's the live look at the camera. Let's start with the cameras and start with the kind of the summaries of what's going on here for the day. Then we'll go over temperatures. Then we'll go over storms. Live look at Window World Skycam out in the Texarkana. It is cloudy. Go figure. The thing is, if it's not going to be raining here today, it's going to be cloudy still throughout the entire morning hours. Believe it or not, we actually had peaks of sunshine coming on through Bossier, but now the cloud cover is back and it is vast like a blanket across the entire ArkLaTex here for today, eventually leading into storms that are going to be coming from your First Alert Weather Day here for the day today. So again, severe storms is the reason why we put today under a First Alert Weather Day. Now, there's going to be two main things. I have two main things to get to you story-wise here about this first alert weather day that make it a little more unique, so to speak. The first of which is the timing of everything. The earliest the severe storms come in here. I think light rain showers could come through around as early as lunchtime in just the next few hours. We'll take a look at the future track here in just a little bit. But the soonest the severe storms really come in is going to be around 3 p.m. But overall, the bulk of really all the severe weather I'm expecting is kind of right in the middle of that time frame, right around the evening hours, late afternoon, maybe a little bit into the into tonight as well. And you see the end frame, midnight. That's kind of the last little bits of severe storms, potentially. That's as late as the severe storms could go here for your Friday as well. Yes, this could be something that lasts late into the night for a few of you, especially for Natchitoches. We'll get into that in just a little bit with the timing of everything on our future track. This is an intriguing map, the temperatures. Let's go over the temperatures first and foremost because this is kind of the easy part of the forecast. Then we'll go over the storms. This, though, shows you the cold front. In fact, some of the cold air has already tried to filter into the northwest corner of the ArkLaTex. We got 50s even still now in Idabel to Queen and Mount Pleasant, mid-60s from Texarkana down into Longview still. And temperatures definitely warming up in front of the cold front still, well into the lower 70s here at this hour, underneath muggy conditions, and again, that cloud cover that's still covering the vast majority of the ArkLaTex here for the day today. This is your fuel here for today. If you're already cooler, like you are found across areas from Idabel to Queen, you don't really have as much fuel for the storms here for your Friday. So that kind of goes into the other main story here for the day today with the storms. Most of this first alert weather day and most of the severe storm activity is going to be only for the southern half of the ArkLaTex. Only. There's a little chance for areas north of the I-20 corridor up into maybe as far north as Texarkana, but this is mainly going to be an issue for, say, Marshall, Shreveport, Minden, southward, in for Mansfield, Natchitoches, Carthage, those kind of areas here for the day today. Again, we'll get plenty of details on the storms themselves in just a little bit. This is the last little temperature graphic that I wanted to share with you real quick before we actually get into the nitty-gritty of the storms. Today, highs are still in the 70s into Shreveport itself. Then we cool off into the 50s with the rest of the region here for you tomorrow. 50s on tap here overall for the next 3 days. We got a brief warm-up, yes, into Tuesday. But I think the cooler air is here to stay for good once we get past the stormy activity. Again, highs only in the 50s and 60s, not just for the weekend, but throughout next week. It's going to be a big cool change, even some colder mornings for you to watch out for as well. More on that in the 7-day forecast, which is the very tail end of this whole forecast. All right, here is the full radar and satellite picture. By the way, I want to stop myself real quick before I get into the nitty-gritty things. Feel free to leave a comment or question on our Facebook stream or on our YouTube stream at any point. I will not be answering them yet, but what's going to happen is I'm going to go over the full forecast. Then we're going to go over commercial break because we have to roll commercial breaks. Then after the commercial break, I will entitle the rest of the time after the commercial break to exclusively answer your questions. I know it's going to be a little while until I get to questions, but I will get to them, I promise, on both our Facebook and our YouTube live streams. If you're not on there and you're just watching on the live stream and you want your question or comment answered, you can go over to those streams. Anyways, continuing on the forecast. Sorry for interrupting a little bit. Anyways, this is how massive the system is. Again, we kind of briefly talked about this with the rain coverage out across areas of Tennessee, Alabama, Georgia, areas off to our east. But here's the thing. The fire hydrant of moisture, you can still see with these high cloud tops, is still going through Texas and Louisiana. There's the cold front because the dry air is packed in right behind this cold front. The central Texas, the vast majority of Oklahoma. This is just, it's stalled out, essentially. So what this allowed us to do is we have almost a fire hydrant of moisture just essentially squeezed up into portions of the ArkLaTex as this front is stalled out. And this will give us chances and rounds of storms here for this afternoon and for tonight. This cold front finally starts to move through after tonight. As just discussed on the temperatures finally cool off into tomorrow and the rest of the week. But for today alone, cold front's at a standstill. That's going to lead us, again, to the fire hydrant of moisture and storms to come on through from Texas. It's going to slide out of College Station, push up north and east into the ArkLaTex here for the day today. So if you want to track this out in your First Alert weather app and you want to see and ask yourself the question, where are the storms coming from that could get into my direction? Well, essentially you want to look off to your south and west. So, for example, if I'm in Shreveport here for today, and I want to see where are storms coming from, they would be coming from Nacogdoches. So if there's storms on top of Nacogdoches, they would be sliding up north and east, as seen by kind of the radar picture here for you, up north and east into areas of Shreveport. So again, look off to your southwest to see if you want to see the storms coming your way. Essentially, is what I'm trying to get at. All right, first alert Doppler radar. Again, it's clear here locally. As we just discussed regionally, though, we've got plenty of storms all around us and a very powerful system. And this line in particular in Texas is what we all have eyes on. For this to develop in the heat of the afternoon, you can already see starting to see some light rain showers developing north of Houston, and they are moving up northward into the ArkLaTex. That's what we're going to be tracking here through the day itself. All right, all-important future track. Let's go over it here for the rest of today. We're going to go over by hour, slowly here with you, because we have the time on the first alert with a breakdown. How about that? Anyways, future track, leading into lunchtime in just an hour or two from now. You might see some light rain come on through. But again, it's light rain. None of the severe weather starts showing up here until 3 p.m. at the earliest. And even by 3 p.m., it's still looking like lots of shades of light rain coming on through areas south of the I-30 corridor anywhere around the region. Again, the one exception to that is Idabel and DeQueen. I don't even think they have much of a chance of rain for today up there, to be quite frank with you. Once we get past 3 p.m., you see one of those cells starting to grow through Nacogdoches, 4, 5 p.m. Then we start to scatter a little more of the entire southern half of the ArkLaTex underneath the stormy skies there for you in areas, as mentioned, along and south of the I-20 corridor here for the day today. Again, this is going to start around the evening commute home. That's when this starts. Okay, so again, most of the bulk of the day itself is fine. It's once we reach the evening commute home that we start facing troubles in for areas from Longview and Shreveport down south to Nacogdoches and Natchitoches. So that's the snapshot around 5 p.m. But once we get in time, some of these storms are going to mature into the evening hours tonight and give us chances for more widespread heavy rainfall and more of a chance of severe weather as well, especially as these cells start to move a little more into northwest Louisiana. I mean, this is 8 p.m., and we still have rain on top of us in Shreveport, and heavy rain, especially expanded in most of our northwest Louisiana parishes for you then, and especially going through Natchitoches at that time, too. One of the main features, as I said earlier, is that some of these severe storms could last as late as midnight. So even though the first little wave rolls on past around midnight, we could still have the chance late at night around 10, 11 o'clock to get one of these backside cells coming on through Shreveport here at as late as, again, 10, 11 o'clock midnight. So this could still affect your late night plans, even if you're planning on waiting it out and going to dinner at 8 p.m. You're still going to be running into storms coming home from dinner or any other late night activities that you have here for your Friday night. It doesn't fully end until it looks like almost the overnight hours. Even Natchitoches still get some storms on through in a 1, 2 in the morning before finally you wake up on Saturday morning. It doesn't even matter what time you wake up. Even if you wake up early in the morning on Saturday, we're done. So essentially, again, once it starts hitting in the afternoon commute hours going home, that's when you need to start being weather aware. Then it's going to continue to pour on down here for late tonight, into the evening hours, and again into late tonight throughout most areas along and south the I-20 corridor. Again, that's where the bullseye is for the chances of severe weather. And then rolling through the rest of the future track here for you, Saturday and Sunday are lovely. There is not an issue with any kind of storms actually after tonight. So it's just one quick wave. I won't even call it quick. Again, as mentioned, it starts around like 5, 6 o'clock and then carries on as late as midnight. This will be hitting the last corner of your day here for the day today. So let's get a little more into the specifics of what's going down with this. So again, we have this severe weather risk in place here, again, for areas along and south of the I-20 corridor. This map kind of helps enhance it for you. If you're in the yellow shade, you're under the greatest chance for severe weather here for the day today. That does include Shreveport. Technically barely, but it is included in that yellow shade. This is mainly in store, again, for areas of Nacogdoches and Natchitoches here for your Friday, late afternoon, Friday night. The green shade is kind of how far north can the severe weather chance go. And technically that is included into some areas that are just north of the I-20 corridor, up into the ArkLaTex border itself, technically just grazing the some of our southwest Arkansas counties, but it stays south of the I-30 corridor. So if you're in Texarkana, this first alert weather day pretty much isn't in store for you if you're in areas along and north of the I-30 corridor. This is going to be an isolated severe risk here for the day today, is what I'm trying to get at. So what are we watching out for in the troublesome spots in the southern half of the ArkLaTex? Well, most of it's going to revolve around strong winds. Now, first of all, before I even get into more specifics, notice how most of these threats are low, which is good news. This is not like a huge severe weather outbreak that we're expecting with the system, which is good news. The main issue for the first alert weather day is still the little threat of tornadic activity that could happen here for the day today. We'll explain more of that in just a moment. And also strong winds. The winds are probably going to be the most prominent note and maybe the most likely thing to happen if any severe weather threat happens at all here for the day today, with wind gusts embedded within the storms as fast as 40 to 50 miles an hour, moving like a freight train across the ArkLaTex here for you. So to go into more specifics, this almost looks like the same map of what our severe weather risk was. That's the point. Most of these severe storms are revolving around the strong winds, and again, especially that is key in areas along and south of I-20 here for the day today. But this next map might intrigue you most, because this is one of the reasons why we felt compelled to make today a first alert weather day. I'm actually going to hide my face here for a second. If you look at the tan shade, that is the shade that has the greatest chance of seeing a tornado anywhere around the ArkLaTex. So that would be around Natchitoches pretty much only. Natchitoches and most of the southeast corner of the ArkLaTex. That's where we're watching out for the greatest tornado risk if it's going to happen. Technically, this green shade shows you as far north as a tornado warning could go, which is technically including into Shreveport and Bossier. But again, it is, if you're anything in the green, if you're in the green at all, it is a low risk for a tornado here for the day today, but not zero. It is pretty much a zero chance if you're north of this green line, though. That's what I'm trying to get at. So we're watching out for maybe the southeast corner of the ArkLaTex to maybe catch on a tornado warning, and then the rest of the region, possibly, but not likely at this point in time. All right, so we're starting to go into summaries about some of these storms, and then, again, we'll take the commercial break, and then we'll answer questions after the commercial break. So the severe chance, again, south of I-20. That's where the moderate chance is. That's where we want to keep you mainly first alert and keep you guys especially weather aware if you're in that area or even traveling to that area for tonight. If you're in between I-20 and I-30, low severe chance. You're still getting rain in between I-20 and I-30. But again, the severe chance is extremely low and not as much of a worry. And then if you're north of I-30, you might not even get rain from this at all, to be quite frank with you, okay? All right, so now let's go into some of our lifestyle forecasts before we unveil the 7-day forecast here for you. Crew of Demeter Ball. By the way, our own Dominique Ben is the MC at that tonight. Thankfully, that event is inside in the I forget how she said it, the Le Bourget Event Center here for tonight at 6 p.m. in Bossier City. Storms. Now, again, thankfully, the event is indoors. But if you're headed out to it, please be mindful of the rain. It will be coming down. I know that Shreveport is kind of, I've described Shreveport today as kind of on the verge of, and just the very edge of being on our, like, big, moderate, severe risk here today. It's still going to rain. Lots of heavy rain in Shreveport here through tonight. Again, it's just a matter of that severe weather threat, whether or not it gets to you. But regardless, grab an umbrella, please. You don't want to be soaked heading into the ball itself, all right? Then, as a reward through getting through the storms tonight, you have a beautiful weekend. No chance of rain either on Saturday or Sunday. You just got to get past the rain here for Friday night. And then look at the temperatures. Again, that's the biggest change. Highs are only in the 50s both days. You're going to need a light jacket of some sort, even just traveling around in the afternoon hours. But those mornings also cool off a lot. 7-day forecast. This is the last graphic before we'll take a commercial break and then go into questions from our Facebook and YouTube live streams. 73 here today, and then highs quickly go racing down in the 50s and 60s. Not only that, on your first alert weather day today with the severe storms, this is the only chance of storms that I see out of the next 7 days. So everything is looking bone dry again here through the weekend and through pretty much all of next week as well. The next major rain chance I see after this is next weekend. Not the weekend that's coming up, not this coming Saturday and Sunday, but the following one. So maybe watch out for that, but that'll be something to look at next week. As for the short term through the next 7 days, 50s and 60s for highs. Mornings are going to be down in the 30s. Keep that in mind. It's going to be coat weather going to work and school next week. That's the biggest change. We'll keep you first alert about that a whole lot more then. But as for now, again, you just want to make sure you're weather aware here tonight, especially in the southern half of the ArkLaTex. That's our full rundown of our forecast. Feel free to stick around because if you have a question or comment, I will be sticking around to answer specific questions and comments right after a quick commercial break. I'll just be essentially what I'm trying to get is I'm just going to be all in the questions. We're done with the forecast. I'll be going into the Facebook and YouTube live streams after this and just answering your questions one-on-one. I will be right back just after a quick 2-minute water break. See ya. Welcome back to your first alert weather breakdown. Again, I'm meteorologist Evan Thomason here in the podcast center. Thank you very much for watching this full presentation and the full forecast, always tailored to you guys there at home. I know it's a little long, but that's the point. It's the weather podcast. We want to make sure we go over at kind of like every nitty-gritty detail that we can, essentially, here to give you the first alert to especially days like today. This is what the weather podcast is made for, essentially. Just opening it up to all the details revolving around the severe weather, the threats and the timing and where it's happening, and most importantly, to answer your questions, which we're going to do now on our YouTube and Facebook live streams. I don't see any questions on our YouTube page, but I believe we have several comments on our Facebook feed. Thank y'all for those of y'all sticking around, especially those of you who have left comments from 20 to 25 minutes ago. Again, I just want to make sure I, get the full forecast in first. Maybe I answer your question there, and then I can go into questions afterward. Anyways, if you still have questions. All right. Anyways, point is, hello, Corey. You're welcome, Susan. Hey, this is what I love doing. This is what I love doing. I appreciate it. Corey, we need the rain bad to get rid of the burn bands. That is correct. Burn bands. I believe I still have a graphic tailored to that. Again, this is a lot more free flow here for you. I'm actually going to bring up the burn bands here real quick. I was not prepared to bring up the burn band, so I got to go in and search for it. There it is. And let you see it there without my face in it. All right, these are the burn bans currently in effect as of right now. Again, this is just bringing this up briefly as a reminder that most of our parishes and counties are underneath the burn ban still from the dry weather. It's been 3 weeks since we've had measurable rainfall around here. Kind of wild, and hopefully this rain at least soaks us enough to where I know some people in my comments have just been wanting to do bonfires out and around. So hopefully that'll at least help it enough for that and just help out our drought enough overall. All right, next question. Claudius, thank you for the report. Cool, you're welcome. Scotty, how bad is it going to be in Carthage? Great question. Great question. Let me go back to another graphic. Hold up. See, as I said, this has got to be a lot more free flowing than you think. There we go. Anyways, there's a look at your severe weather risk here for the day today. Again, the first alert weather day is mainly in tune for those in the southern half of the ArkLaTex, those along and south of the I-20 corridor. That does include Carthage, way in the yellow shade here for you. So we're watching out for that now. That includes mostly strong winds. I'm expecting that to be most present around the ArkLaTex here through these storms here late tonight and into tomorrow. Winds aren't looking horrifically bad, but you're still going to want to make sure you have everything tied down, no loose ends on the yard, those kind of things. The garbage can might get knocked down, those kind of things, essentially here for tonight. Now, thankfully, the tornado risk, especially in Carthage, is not as bad as other areas. It's in the green, which means we could technically have a tornado warning in this area, but more the greater chance of tornadic risk are out towards areas of Natchitoches and further up into northeastern Louisiana. The point is, you're at least away from the bulk of the tornado risk here for the day today, but still receiving lots of heavy rain, still receiving some strong winds here for this afternoon and for tonight. So I'm expecting just a good soaking in a rainy late afternoon and into tonight there for Carthage. But hopefully we stay out of the tornado warning category for you guys. It's looking most likely that that will be the case. Hopefully that answers your question. All right, Stonewall. Threat of tornado. Stonewall, just north of Shreveport here for you. So I guess just being on this graphic, wow, it says threat of tornado. I was going to go into like the whole severe weather aspect again for all of Stonewall. But anyways, using this map, again, Stonewall right around here, south of Shreveport. So essentially you're in this green shade, which means a tornado warning could happen, but it's not likely. Again, the tornado warnings are a little more likely into this tan shade around Natchitoches. That's where I would watch out for. Maybe the tornado warning could happen a little more, a greater chance of it happening. But only a very low chance of a tornadic risk is going to happen in this green shade here for the day today, which thankfully, again, is including the bulk of the ArkLaTex. It's just these few little parishes huddled around Natchitoches, including Sabine Parish and Natchitoches Parish, that we're going to be watching out for tonight, essentially scraping the southeast corner of the ArkLaTex. Again, it could happen in the green shade, but it's not likely to happen, including Stonewall. So hopefully that answers your question. All right, Tamara, thanks for watching from Valdosta. Valdosta getting in some storms here for tonight over in Georgia, but we are talking about ArkLaTex weather here. Last comment I see on our Facebook feed is from Pat. What about Shreveport? Same thing for Shreveport's pretty much near Stonewall. So not much of a tornadic risk here for the day today. It's on the very edge of the green shade, I will mention as well. Most of that tornadic threat should be way off to your south and east if you're in Shreveport. But more of the issue is going to be these strong winds coming up and definitely the buckets of heavy rain coming on by. Now, I haven't mentioned much about flash flooding here for the day today because this is, I think, going to give us a good soaking of wet weather, but I don't think this is going to give us inches and inches and inches of rainfall at all. I think this is going to be a system moving on by, coming in for a couple of hours here, again, late this afternoon and into tonight, and then it's going to be gone. It's going to be gone by 2 a.m. in the case of Natchitoches, but most of the threat kind of dies down again around midnight here for tonight. So hopefully that answers all your questions over on our YouTube and also Facebook live streams. Thank y'all for watching and also asking questions. Hey, I always appreciate you guys for coming on very much. That is all the questions I believe that is on there. So we are going to go ahead and end the stream. If you have further questions or if you have more details as to how this forecast evolves, again, we'll be tracking this out all day long today. Again, the peak of the storms goes from 3 p.m. until midnight. That's where we're going to be watching out for severe storms here for the day today. We'll be watching it all afternoon and evening long. Jake Lambright has your next weather update on our noon show in 1 hour from now. And Chief Meteorologist Matt Jones will be on shift here through the night tonight, so he will keep you in tune and updated. As for myself, I'm Meteorologist Evan Thomason. Thank you very much for watching the First Alert Weather Breakdown. I greatly appreciate it. It's Friday. Just got to get through the storms tonight, and they are severe storms at that, again, especially for areas of the southern half of the ArkLaTex, but once we get past it, we're good. Good for a great weekend. I will say, especially for myself, I'm going to enjoy the cool weather as well. So it's going to be fantastic here for you Saturday and Sunday. We'll be back with the First Alert with a breakdown on Monday, 10:30. Meteorologist CJ Cartledge should be your host on that day. Same time, same place. Again, Monday at 10:30. Be there, be square, and most importantly, especially today on your First Alert weather day, stay weather aware. Have a great rest of your Friday. Enjoy the weekend once we get to it. Peace.